Hi guys, so I lately did a tutorial video sort of thing where I spoke about what I learned making my short film The Bridge. And how I did it and all that sort of business, but I wasn't too keen on the format of that video, so I'm going to do it again. We're here in an empty... Oh my god, the camera is fast. We're here in an empty open world level. Turn this camera speed down. With just our terminal here and a cascade particle effect of just like a random explosion that we're going to use later on. So I'm just going to put that over there. And what we're going to do is we're going to explode this here terminal system. What we're going to do is it's a skeletal mesh, so we're going to turn it into a static mesh. We're going to fracture it using chaos fracture. We're going to simulate that exploding with a bomb physics asset, and then we're going to put it all in a timeline with a simple camera movement so you know what you're doing, and you can build upon that by experimenting in the future by yourself on your own. So what I've done is I've made a folder called Fracture. It's empty at the moment, but if we click on our SK console 02, that's what it's called. Let's go over here to Actor, and we go to Convert SK console 02 to Static Mesh. We're going to put that in our Fracture folder. There it is, right there. It's just called Static Mesh. And I'm just going to ignore that and go over here. I'm going to drag it in. There it is, look, in all of its glory. Absolutely perfect. This is the one we're going to blow up. So I'm going to delete this one now because we don't need it. But let's say, for example, you had a character and you wanted that character to slice at somebody and get cut in half. Let's say it was in a sword fight and was slicing. You could freeze his pose and then you could turn him into a static mesh, cut him in half. There you go. That's why we need to know how to turn skeletal meshes into static meshes. So here is our static mesh. We're going to click on our static mesh. We're going to go over here to Fracture. This is our Fracture mode now. We're going to go to Mode and we're going to press New, and this is going to create our geometry collection. We're going to put it in the Fracture folder. We'll just call it GC Static Mesh. It's going to change the colour. That's fine. We'll sort that out later. Now with this selected, we're going to go to Cluster. Any one of these can do. I think this is what you'd use if you were doing the slicing sword thing. There's a brick and there's Radical, but we're going to use Cluster. Then we're going to go to Fracture. I'm going to press Fracture. I'm going to say Fracture a lot in this video. And then if we use our Explode amount up in this corner, we can see what it looks like when it explodes into pieces. So that is done. Now with everything still selected, with it still selected in our outlier, we're going to go up here to Actor, Chaos, Create Cache Manager. Now the Cache Manager is where you control what you're going to put into your timeline, into your sequencer. We'll put that into Fracture and we'll just leave it called New Chaos Cache Collection. And we'll save that there. There it is now. Lovely, lovely jubbly. So next up, we need what's called a bomb physics asset. So if we go to All, and go to Engine, and just search bomb. There it is. Now, if you cannot find the engine folder when you're in All, or if all you see is content, click the settings here. Press this little ticky box that says Show Engine Content. And if that's selected, the engine folder should show up. Here it is. Now, I'm not going... People do just drag this in all willy-nilly, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to find our Fracture folder here. And I'm going to put the bomb asset in there. I'm going to copy that there. And then I can just have it there now for my own liking. Now I'm going to pull this into the scene. I'm going to put it, say, about halfway in. So let's say the explosion was in front of this item. There we go. I'm going to click Use Bomb. But if we simulate this now, with Use Bomb selected, it's going to be very slow and very underwhelming. See? Very slow and very underwhelming. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the duration to 0.05, which is very small. So that bomb's going to expand very quick. And if we put our bomb scale up just to 3, so it's a little bit bigger. And we'll try it again. Should be a bit more exciting. It was a little bit more exciting. Fine, 0.005. Yeah. See what I mean? Now before, I did just press loads of random stuff, made it explode very nicely. So just play around with the settings until you find what you want. Tick and untick all sorts of boxes. Oh dear. Change this back to 0.05. Oh dear. That was a bit more exciting, but that's a bit too exciting, so we'll maybe turn this down to 0.5. Something like that again. That's a bit better. So we'll have that. And if you stop simulating, and you go into our Chaos Cache Manager, which, ignore this one here, this one doesn't exist. Chaos Cache Manager, that's going to be up in your outliner. It's going to say record. We're going to change that to static pose, and that locks in that simulation. So now we don't need the bomb asset, right? And if we make ourselves a little level sequence, we'll just leave it in the fracture folder. There we go. Make ourselves a little level sequence. We need to find that Chaos Cache Manager. Move that in. Press the little plus. My head's in the way. Moving myself over here. Press the little plus. I'm going to add a Chaos Cache. And this green bar here is the animation, the simulated animation that we have got now. So if we go to the end, just press our minus button and we'll zoom out a little bit. I'm going to move the end point. If we just put this to show time as seconds, it gives us a better. Let's say it's 8 seconds long. Move the red bar over there, and we want that to be the last thing that happens. So now, it explodes as it does. So, because I've just clicked, so when you're at the end of your explosion, it's exploded well and thoroughly. If you just click to the start, it's going to stay exploded. You need to scrub back through it to sort of reset everything. I don't know why you have to do that. It's just something you have to do. So there we go. That is our explosion is in the static mesh. Yep. See this as well. As I say, I'm new to this. So this little, you can sort of make out where the bomb was. I don't know how to get rid of that. Somebody smarter than me, maybe you can leave something in the comments, or there's a tutorial out there somewhere that somebody can point us in the direction of, because I'm not too sure. But go back to the beginning of this. What we want to do now is we want to remove the colour. So if we press on our exploded item and we just search for colour, or just see colour, and untick that box, show bone colours, we are back to normal. So what we want to do is, let's just quickly make a little scene. I'm going to add a camera, I'm going to add an explosion, and I'm going to do it all in super speed. There we are, we have some camera movement now. We're just going to set that back to the beginning. If you remember correctly, I said I had a little explosion. It's not a very good explosion, to be honest. I'm going to put this over here, or right in front of it. And we're going to drag that into the timeline. And we're going to go to the beginning of the explosion, which is about... That's the first scene of it. You can sort of see it starting to crack there, so we'll go a frame before that. Press the little plus, and we're going to add an FX system toggle track. I'm going to press activate there. But we need to go back to the beginning of the timeline and change that to deactivate, so when the render starts, when the scene starts, it doesn't explode at the beginning all random like. And we'll obviously as well cap that off. So if we go to the end of this little bar here, press deactivate again, and that means when we do zoom in, it looks like the explosion has caused the destruction of this box. Now this is obviously very simple. In my latest short film, I went overboard and I added fracture elements to the full front half of a building, and I had a big machine gun shoot it to pieces.
Shit.
But essentially that is the same workflow that I've used in this video here, and it can get very satisfying, but it can also get difficult as well. Like this is quite a thick item, whereas when I was using a wall, it's quite narrow, so it's blue everywhere, quite good. And if you wanted to do like you could get like a pane of glass I used the radical one, which is more like a center point. You could use that as a, you know, if somebody was to smash open a window. So the stuff you can do with this is really quite good. Really quite impressive what you can do here, using such a simple method. And as I say, if you could use better quality explosions, smoke, fire, sound effects, camera shakes, all that sort of business, to really lock in what you're looking for, what you want to see from your own animation. So yeah. Anyway, that is how I did it. That's what I learned, and that's how I did it. These videos are gonna be coming out not every time I do a short film, but if I do a short film and I learn something, I'm gonna try and make a tutorial on it because I want people to learn what I struggled to learn. Does that make sense? So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to smack that like button and subscribe. I've got a new episode of Super Bridge coming out very soon. I just need to do my recording and the motion capture and put it all into Unreal Engine and ready it all out, and then edit it all in Vegas, and then I'm away. So not a lot of work to do really. But as I say, if you want to see that when it comes out, subscribe, hit the bell. You got any more ideas for tutorials, things that you've seen in my videos that you want to know how to do? Feel free to comment below, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. Until next time, thanks for watching.
Hey, look familiar? This data graph shows me that only 5% of viewers are subscribed. So that means you should press that subscribe button right now, because you never know when I'll be dropping more content. Wow. Will I do? Yeah?
Looks good.
Cool.